how heavy should I breathe?
Perfect. Yeah, you have to concentrate on your breathing and just make sure right into the microphone, heavy and often.
Okay.
Yeah, just not natural. Whatever you do.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
Jurassic Park?
It's only fitting that here in the Not Sam studio is the glamorous, the effervescent.
Okay.
I don't know if, when you're wrestling, I'd say the androgynous, but right now you don't seem as androgynous.
Is it the V-neck?
Yeah,
the V-neck.
The V-neck's not as
it
androgynous.
really takes away some of the class.
Yeah. But
Well-
ladies and gentlemen, the Ring of Honor heavyweight champion of the world, Dalton Castle.
Thank you so much. And returning full-time co-host
I forgot about that. Yes.
of the Sam and Dalton experience.
Yeah.
Here on Sirius XM. And as I look around the studio, I'm is the budget going lower? What's happening? Like the studio's changed.
The Westchester Sirius compound.
Oh, yeah,
studios.
the remote studios.
Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, I forgot. I guess that's a pretty cushy co-hosting gig.
Yeah. What was it, once a year I pop in?
If that.
Has it been over a
Yeah,
year?
it's probably been over a year.
Well, I mean, I want to I thank you for having the patience and the company for letting me take the sabbatical so I could go off and accomplish some things that I haven't done yet.
Right.
And now that I've become Ring of Honor World Champion, I'm back in the seat.
Well, that's what I figured. In my mind, I was like, well, if my co-host wins the Ring of Honor Championship, it's only good for the show, so let me wait a year and a half or so.
It's almost like the show is world champion right now.
Is that the first thing you thought when you won the title? Like, oh my God, this is so good for Sam.
Yeah, you can see it in my lips. The second Carrie Silken hands me that brand new Ring of Honor World Championship belt, my mouth, right there in one, I don't know what angle it is, but you can see me just mumble, Sam's gonna be so happy.
Well, I was happy watching it. I didn't expect it, and I think a lot of people didn't expect it. But you tell me, because I talked about it after, and you might have heard it. But my theory on it was that it was a super positive move for Ring of Honor, not just to blow smoke up your behind, but because as great as Cody is, and everybody knows that I think he's awesome and he does the show, and I think the world of him, and I think
you're just saying that because you want him to come back and do this.
Especially now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only gotten more famous. I really want him to come back and do this.
Yeah, he speaks a little bit about you, not positive, but it's not bad.
But it is my name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
All
saying
right.
it.
So
He's saying it a lot.
he's aware that I exist. Okay. All right. But Cody and the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club and the whole thing is like super positive in the sense that Ring of Honor has it here in the States, because other groups don't for the most part. But you winning the title, I felt, was this move that is a Ring of Honor guy holding the Ring of Honor title. Does that make sense? Like, the Ring of Honor champion is a Ring of Honor, not that you're a Ring of Honor creation, but a Ring of Honor creation. That's Dalton Castle is known.
Yeah, I would say they are definitely the first company to give me a bigger stage to perform on, and they're the reason I would say the majority of anybody in the world knows who I am, because Ring of Honor took that risk and they let me onto their program and let me do what I've had been doing on the indie scene. So yeah, I am a Ring of Honor guy, and I wasn't built, nobody else built me up but them. So right. Yeah, I'm proud to carry that brand, and I'm very happy to be a part of it, and now to be the spotlight and pinnacle guy on their card, it's cool. So thanks. I'm glad you feel positive about it, because I do too.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I feel good about being champ as well.
Did you think it was a good business move?
I was thinking, if I were me, I would make that move too.
Yeah. But it's one
if
of those.
I had the book,
first thing you're gonna do.
There would be a couple more titles on me as well. I would probably have them all.
So yeah, in your mind, Ring of Honor took a step backwards when they took the 6-man titles off you. Mm-hmm. But a step forward with the world title.
Right.
Okay.
And they took weight out of my carry-on bag. So, one less belt to carry is phew.
It's better. It's really interesting hearing you said belt twice now.
Title, championship.
I come from a world where that is that is not a thing, which has some merit to it. For all the rules and regulations, I would never... belt is not something that I would say in describing a title or a championship.
Oh, except mine actually holds my pants up.
So you use it as a functional belt.
Right. It's
I
a dual
see.
purpose.
I see. Okay.
Just to let people know I'm the world's greatest, and
Right.
And I keep my pants right where they're needed.
What people don't know about Ring of Honor's title is that there's actually a thin belt inside of it that goes through the belt loops of any standard pair of jeans.
They have a patent on it, too, so it's really amazing.
There was a Shark Tank episode. You guys should have seen it. Did you... I guess, was this something you foresaw? Because I feel like the first time we spoke, it was more about the character and how kind of wild it was that this character existed at all and existed inside of Ring of Honor. And it was almost like, for a time, you were an attraction in Ring of Honor, which is not to take anything away from anyone, but it was like, here in Ring of Honor, there's going to be the championship match, and there's going to be the 6-man over here, and there's going to be the Dalton Castle match. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And sometimes when you're the attraction, you don't get to be the champion.
Yeah, you don't get to be the main guy.
The main event,
and
right.
that's the way I found myself cutting through at that time, because like I didn't just show up and get in the ring and things went well, and I would turn around like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna put the title on me,
right?
But like I needed to earn that first. First, I needed to get the right to be a part of the program, and then I had to build myself up to a point where they trust me on every show, and then they need me on there to make it up. But once I had the acceptance of everybody as what you said, the attraction match, it was time to prove that there was more to me than just that. So I didn't become just this one song guy where like, oh yeah, that's the guy with the fancy outfit and the cool entrance, but what else is he going to offer us? So that was the struggle, I guess, for a couple of years.
Yeah, and while I just said I think it's a really positive thing that it's like for Ring of Honor to make their champion a Ring of Honor guy, not somebody who's necessarily got fame outside of Ring of Honor, it's a move that not a lot of companies would have made. Like that had to kind of come as like, okay, Cody's got the title, right? And Cody has achieved international fame in WWE, and since being out of WWE, he's like a big guy over in New Japan, and he's got, he's doing things outside of the Ring of Honor sphere.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it'd be like,
I think
when the WWE brings in The Rock, right? Like, for somebody to beat The Rock, and I don't necessarily know if the correlation works 100%, that's kind of a big deal for WWE to do. They don't do stuff like that. And I kind of looked at Cody in a similar way in that he comes into Ring of Honor, and as much as he is a team player, he's still this guy who you can put on a poster and be like, oh yeah, from TV. Right,
yeah. But he's also not as strong as me. Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
Let's remember that part. But no, Ring of Honor's really never been the company to do that. We don't, if you look back, we don't really rely on the popularity of others just to excel the product that we have built, because Ring of Honor itself for over 15 years has been kind of its own thing. So when guys get released from WWE, we don't immediately pick them up and make them our next champion. That hasn't happened in history. Cody was a unique case in that he decided to take a step out, and he was putting a lot of effort to making himself reinventing himself and bringing a lot of eyes onto Cody the performer, not Cody the former WWE guy.
Totally.
And because he was doing that, Ring of Honor appreciated it, and I think all the fans of Ring of Honor saw that and accepted him as one of our own. He was a Bullet Club member too, and that only helped and escalated things. So like he came to our company and brought a lot of eyes with him, which was great, because I feel like Ring of Honor is such a good show and such a nice little a breath of fresh air of a different style of wrestling. People don't know about it until they are brought in by somebody like him. And then once they get here, we've got people like Jay Lethal and Matt Taven and Silas, all like people keeping those new viewers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it really is great. When you watch a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, that's the feeling that I get.
Keep bashing your table.
That's okay.
Is that okay?
It's been reinforced. Although you're very strong, so I don't know if it's been reinforced.
I am the world champion. Let's not forget that.
I don't know if it's been reinforced to that level, but I do feel that that's something that Ring of Honor is very good at. Is like creating like, here's the names on the marquee. Now let's put extra effort into showing you guys in matches that you might not be familiar with, so that you come back for them, right?
Yeah.
And that you become loyal to the Ring of Honor product.
Yeah, you see that like on small indie shows. I mean, they bring in the former WWF star,
Right?
Like, yeah, the Bushwhacker is here, and then they don't call Luke that. They don't call him the Bushwhacker.
Here comes the Bushwhacker. No, it's copyright. Here's the Weed Whacker.
So you see a name or a face that's familiar from your childhood, and you go to the show. But if you go to that big super show that they paid a bunch of money to bring a guy in, people don't come back to the next show,
right?
Unless they've got that, and that's what like Ring of Honor's always kind of been good at, is making the card top to bottom splendid.
So people have said in WCW back in the day when we were growing up that everybody wanted to be in the NWO because the NWO guys were the only ones that were making money and getting wins and doing all this stuff. And I sometimes wonder, especially for a guy like you who's like making this reputation for himself on your own merit, when the Bullet Club is when you see them in Ring of Honor and it does amazing things for Marty Scurll, and it does what we just said, it only helps Cody Rhodes, and it does amazing things for Adam Page. Is there any part of you that sits there in the locker room going like, I've really been busting my ass to make this Dalton Castle thing work. Is there a version of Dalton Castle that exists in the Bullet Club? Like, I kind of in my head wonder if everybody in that locker room isn't kind of thinking to themselves, is there a version of me that works in the Bullet Club?
Well, I would be lying if I didn't say I look at those guys and I don't have a little bit of envy with the amount of success and the merch sales they have, and just the overwhelming popularity that they have everywhere in the world. It's insane, and how the Young Bucks have taken just their brand to a whole different level without having, like you said, that big machine backing them or a different brand behind them. And because they've done that, I feel like they've elevated the world of wrestling along with them. But when nobody is on the level that they are. We went to Dublin the week before Final Battle, and I was it was me and the boys versus Marty and the Young Bucks, and 2,000 people in Dublin, Ireland, are yelling lines and catchphrases from the Being the Elite show. It blew my mind just looking around and seeing we're on the other side of the world. Well, we're quarter part of the way around.
A different side.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And they have made an impact without anybody helping them along the way there. And you see that, and part of me is like, man, all these guys in the Bullet Club get to ride alongside them and benefit from that. They all get their shirts in Hot Topic. They all get like these giant sales online, and everywhere they go, they're associated with them as well. So they're immediately at an advantage to everybody else. Now, that being said, seeing myself or watching where I came from, or as my wife constantly reminds me of how keeps me humbled whenever I complain about something, and reminds me of where I started, that I've built myself to this point without coasting alongside somebody else. I take great pride in that, and I'm very thankful and happy. But my bank account is not the same.
Right. You're like, well, I've got my integrity, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
Your accountant's like, is that what counts? Because I don't think so. Your taxes are in, and you need money, not integrity. No,
I did it. I pulled up my bootstraps and I grit my teeth. I did it by myself. So put that in the taxes there.
Yeah, but you got to pay for the bootstraps.
No, well, Mom.
But I would have to imagine now, like of course you can look at that, but that is kind of the thing with success, is that no matter what point you're at, there's always someone to look at. Like, I'm sure there's lots of people, and I mean a lot of people, especially now more than ever, that look at you and are like, well, why couldn't I have done that? I could have been kind of funny in the ring, or look at one kind of section of what you do and go like, well, I can do that. How come I can't I can't. How come I can't be the Ring of Honor champion? How come I can't be on pay-per-view? How come I can't be doing this? And they sometimes forget that you're much stronger than them.
Yeah, I think that's the part everyone overlooks. And I'm real quick too.
Real quick.
Yeah, not for a long time, but just quick bursts.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
in those bursts, and then you give the audience a chance to applaud you, and that allows you to catch your breath.
Yeah, and I think that looking at people's success is something that kind of helps move most people forward, and it's not just. I'm not looking outside and like, I want what they've got. I always feel like I should be moving forward and doing something more. I win the championship in December.
Right.
And it felt great and it was really, really good. But it's also been extremely frustrating in that I have this amazing moment. I accomplished this goal that I've set, and now I want to hit the ground running. I want to start doing more. I want to take this title and I want to try to elevate it. I want to try to elevate myself, and I want to try to build Ring of Honor. But I'm not working.
Right, there's just no shows.
Yeah, we had almost a month-long break, and I'm sitting home losing my mind. I got to go on vacation the day after the Philadelphia tapings. I took my wife. We went to Cabo, of course, because they got the best drinks with umbrellas in it.
Right.
And it should be relaxing and fun, but I'm sitting there and something in my head is going, this is wrong. You need to be working out. You need to be doing something more. You need to be in a ring somewhere.
And then you start looking at other people's success and be like, well, would those guys be in Cabo right now?
Yeah.
Would those guys be on vacation right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
And
But they would have brought their tights. They would have brought their gear.
Right. They would have at least had some merch to sell.
The Young Bucks? Yeah. Oh, they for sure would. They would.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, what do you do about that, though? That's kind of the structure that's set up, aside from, I guess you could book international dates, but beyond that, that's kind of out of your control, isn't it? Because you're a Ring of Honor guy. You're the Ring of Honor champion.
Right,
if you want to put Ring of Honor on this pedestal, I guess you could figure out media appearances to do, but you wouldn't really be promoting.
I want to work more Ring of international dates. I listen, you got a country in a ring? I'll be there, especially if you're near a beach. You're getting me at a discount.
When you go on international dates, do you have the boys booked too?
Actually, not often. I've got boys all over the world, so that's easy.
Right.
The Ireland shows, that was the first time they got to travel with me, and that was neat, and it was a real fun experience for them.
Well, I think it's got to be great for them. I guess it was probably when the 6-man tag thing became a thing. I mean, maybe before that, but it was the boys developed.
You could see it the second they announced that there was going to be a 6-man titles. Those two, their eyes just opened wide and it perked up with if you could just bottle that hope and just sell it to people everywhere.
Yeah. So how do they feel? How do the boys feel? If you want to talk about looking at other people's success and stuff, how do they feel when you're doing other dates and whoever it is, Tanahashi is one of the boys, or Cody is in a boy's outfit.
Hard to get jealous of Tanahashi.
Yeah.
World's coolest, most handsome, wonderful hair.
Yeah.
I mean, where am I going with this? I think I just got lost. What happened? I started talking about Tanahashi, saw him in my eyes, and I got lost in the vision that I was imagining of him. Oh.
He's a handsome man.
He's got that up on people. Yeah, he can do that to people.
I mean, and did you see him at Wrestle Kingdom? He had that curl just a little bit.
How long do you think it took to get that hair?
I mean, it had to be a long time. That's not an accident.
Worth it.
Yeah, really worth it. So was there a moment, because I would imagine when you first get to Ring of Honor, the goal is to get the character over. That in my head is what, at least I think that's what my goal would be, is to introduce people to who and what Dalton Castle is so they get it, and I think that was successful. Now, is there a moment that comes when you're like, I got to remind these people that I'm really, really good in the ring? Because because I appreciated the Dalton Castle character, I think, more than I did the wrestler until it was probably over a year ago. It was a Ring of Honor show. It was in that venue in
the bad New York one.
Yeah,
not the Hammerstein.
No, the other venue.
Pierce,
something like that. Yeah.
Terminal 5.
Yeah, yes. And it was, I guess, the first time I had appreciated the delayed German suplex because you did it to Moose.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I was like, and when you did it, it was like a 6-man tag, and I can't remember the first two you did it with, but I was like, that's amazing. And you locked Moose, and I was like, Dalton, what are you doing, buddy? Like, you're not gonna. This
Just
is
lowering those hips, baby,
Yeah.
and keeping them tight.
And then you
That's
actually
all.
got him with that delayed German, and I was like, that to me, it became the most incredible thing I'd seen out of you. Like, that was more incredible to me than the whole entrance and the peacock and the jumpsuit and the boys. I was like, that delayed German did it for me.
Gee, we got to get Moose back. I need to wrestle every night. That'll convince people that I'm a worthy champion.
But was there a moment when you were like, I got to remind people that I'm really, really good at wrestling too?
Yeah, I think I struggled that with like maybe the first 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
When I first got to Ring of Honor, it's almost like I don't want to do anything to mess this up. I'm trying to make every move. The character was important to get over.
Sure.
And I'm also like allowing people to kind of give me advice and kind of write my stuff. Like, I found myself doing things that I didn't think the character should be doing right off the start, just because somebody who I thought had been there longer than me suggested it. I'm like, well, obviously they're right, but they don't know who Dalton Castle is or what I want to portray and what I feel is offensive and what is not. And
Right, because it's a fine line, right?
right, yeah,
Right.
yeah, and you really got to walk it correctly, or I need to be confident one way or the other, and I can't let other people dictate what I do. So I found myself doing more silly things, and I get away, like I'll get a reaction doing the pose, and then like I'll focus too much on that kind of stuff, and I'll forget, like, oh yeah, you can do cool moves here. You have to remind people you're an ass kicker too.
Right.
And I don't know when it clicked, but it didn't. I mean, there wasn't one moment where it happened. I think I just started coming into myself more.
Yeah, and I would imagine too that when you start getting reactions from the audience for the wrestling.
Yeah, part of it too, I wanted to be taken more serious.
Sure.
I want everyone to. I like that contrast of this avant-garde Lady Gaga guy walking down, and once the gear comes off, the personality's the same, but he's got all the abilities to kick everybody's ass. And I wanted people to see me as a more serious wrestler. And here's the thing: I used to get called the Party Peacock, and I created that on the Indies, and I hate it now. I don't like being called the Party Peacock, because when I got to Ring of Honor, I decided right there, I go, okay, if I'm going to be serious about this, I need to drop that and just be the Peacock.
Yeah.
Because the Party Peacock cannot be a champion. That's what I told myself.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Party Peacock is so much more of a, like, fun, gimmicky,
Right.
like, wacky thing. Party Peacock is the opening match attraction.
Yeah, and when I started, that's what I was. But when it started morphing into what Dalton Castle is now with the whole entrance and everything, I don't see a party anymore.
Right.
I see somebody who's putting on like a real display or a real show.
Well, that's what it is. Dalton Castle is you're not invited to Dalton Castle's party. Like, you can watch it. Like,
Yeah.
Dalton Castle
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you're putting on a show for people to watch, not for people to be involved in. By the way, the same way you couldn't party with Freddie Mercury. You could watch Freddie Mercury, right? Freddie Mercury would be the host of this thing, but you were in the audience for Freddie Mercury or Lady Gaga or whatever.
Or
like,
David
you're not
Bowie walking
right.
through in a nice turtleneck. You don't get to touch him. He just walks through.
Right, exactly.
Is that really? What are we all saying? Why are we saying exactly?
Exactly. Well,
I don't even agree with myself.
But it's not like, hey, let's all party. It's like, look at me.
Right.
I'm Dalton Castle.
That's a good. Yeah, that's kind of.
And I also think that Peacock has a nice connotation to it, as I'm sure you've thought about, because you are being a peacock does not just mean you're showing your feathers on your jumpsuit and like, look, it's like a peacock. Like, a peacock is when you're showing off moves in the ring.
everything.
That's peacocking.
Yeah, when you're loud, peacocks are loud.
Loud.
Yeah, just my voice. I've never really been able to distinguish the difference between funny and loud, so I just go loud.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to be funny, but I can be loud. Yeah.
And sometimes people confuse that with funny.
Right. Dalton Castle. Well, you also don't want that. I mean, not only is he a good wrestler, he's really loud. You got to see this guy. It's amazing. It's amazing. When you first get to Ring of Honor, are there like, because Ring of Honor is not a gimmick-heavy promotion historically or now. I mean, I think
They've had performers and like entertainer wrestlers in it. Like Delirious is one.
Sure.
Larry Sweeney was a huge,
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing performer, and I would say he's less of a serious wrestler and more of a entertainer.
Right. But it's a handful of guys, right? Like, I think Ring of Honor is story heavy. Like, everything has a story to it, but it's not over the top gimmick heavy. And I think to make those gimmicks work in Ring of Honor, you kind of have to be really, really good. Like, Larry Sweeney is still talked about now because people know how good he was.
One of the greatest,
and
yeah.
obviously, Delirious, it goes without saying. But, like, when you...
And that's it. That's where all the characters
no more.
Two
No
examples.
more. I mean, I guess the Briscoes are characters,
Yeah,
but they're...
Claudio was pretending to be Swiss for a long time.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm glad he's dropped that. But I don't know. You had that luchador for a while too. That generic whatever.
Generic guy.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared off the face of the
guy.
earth.
He died.
Is that right?
Oh no, he retired.
And then died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you show up and you put the jumpsuit on and stuff, is anybody snickering at you in like the locker room? Like, what is this guy trying to pull off?
I think I don't remember if that was the night Alberto Del Rio was wrestling with us or not. Nobody really. I mean, it was. I had already been hanging around so long that I've developed friendships with most of the roster already, and that's where I kind of had an advantage, where I had such an ambition to be with the company of Ring of Honor that I was traveling with Bobby Fish every chance that I got. If I didn't have an indie show and he was going somewhere by car, I was in that car and I was traveling with him, and I had already known Matt Taven very well. He was a friend who and I was just kind of hanging out with everybody and meeting people, and so like when it came time for me to finally get my shot, people knew me.
Right.
The locker room knew who I was.
And they knew that you were serious. It wasn't like some guy just trying to disguise stuff with a ridiculous jumpsuit.
What is it, fans? No, they were. I mean, I don't think everyone's seen it, but yeah, they were supportive. The office was supportive. They let me do the whole entrance.
Yeah.
And I was just, they helped me like get entrance music made so like I could use something on TV that was going to fit with what I had already been doing. And I'm about to burp.
Go for it.
There it was.
Go for it. That was an androgynous burp.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody, I don't know. If they did, they didn't do it to my face.
Right. And now they can't do it because you're the champ.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to do? Huh?
You can laugh at me?
Right.
I will. What, can I fire them? I don't know. But what kind of powers do I have as the champ?
Now you can politic.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could.
I don't think he should be winning all the
Right.
matches.
Exactly. You're like Hogan now.
Oh, yeah.
Like you got control over everything.
You want to be my beefcake? I'll take you with me.
Definitely.
I think Sam Roberts needs a spot on the card tonight.
I just get booked across every promotion you ever worked for.
You're gonna have to get those sexy tights with where the sides are all
with the cutoffs and everything. Yeah, I could do it. I'd be willing to do it.
Great.
So do you you wanted Ring of Honor? You had that desire to work in Ring of Honor. Like, has that grown past it? Like, are you now looking at Bobby Fish and being like, oh, I would love to parallel this into the NXT route and beyond? Or are you just in this moment going, you know what, I just won the Ring of Honor championship. That doesn't happen to many people.
Yeah.
Like, let me just ride this wave.
I literally, Sam, I just won. I haven't even defended the title one time yet.
I'm probably one of
So,
the
like,
first people who's introduced you as Ring of Honor World
You're
Champion.
the first interview I have done since I put it off because I knew we were going to do this. So I've turned down other podcasts for the last couple weeks because I
appreciate
wanted
that.
you to be the first.
Well, I'm airing this in a
That's real.
month and a half. So just hold off until this airs.
Right. Well,
Yeah, just
you
relax.
won't be the first one. You're the first one who gets it. Yeah.
Right.
I'll just give different answers.
Yeah. But yeah, so do you sit there going like
No, so I look at Bobby Fish and Kyle and Cole
Yeah.
and Roddy, and I see, I'm happy for all of them, and I'm really, because that was the inevitable next step for those guys. I don't think that is my next step at this moment. I just won the title, and to start thinking that far down the road, first I've got about a year left with Ring of Honor guaranteed, so to start thinking past that would be unfair to the company that I work for, and it would be unfair to the effort that I'm putting forth right now. I need to make the most of what I'm doing here, and if what I see now after that I've won this title, and I think about what I've done already with Ring of Honor, I always want to do more. I always want to do something bigger and better, and I'd like to make Ring of Honor be able to do that. I mean, I want us to grow. I want us to get bigger shows. I want us to do bigger production like we finally had at the Hammerstein with. You see all those LED boards?
Yes.
So many LED boards.
Yeah, I love LED boards, and there were like not only yours, but a few entrances where it was like that's a real entrance,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and it's always amazing when I get to pull something off like that because like
With set pieces.
oh yeah, that was a big
Yeah.
So you've seen me right rehearse
Sure.
at the Hammerstein, do like one of my big stupid entrances.
Yeah.
I'm a maniac. I'm like a madman, and it's all because I micromanage and have done it all myself. I'm at the point I am right now because I've never relied on other people to handle something that I want done. And Ring of Honor, unfortunately, we're at the level where we don't got a big fancy theatrical department to handle all this stuff. So like if you mention something to somebody, they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. It won't get done. So I've always taken on upon myself to build my own. I built my own chariot last year.
Did you?
Yeah, I built that in my apartment last year.
Wow. So the big things that you came out with this year.
Okay, so this is the first time I've had help from other people to get stuff brought to the show and build stuff, and I was losing my mind. Like I had heart palpitations because I didn't have control. Like they needed to build the stands for me to be wheeled out on,
Yeah.
and they weren't done the day of. And I get there, and I was supposed to have. I'm getting all worked up about it. Hold on, let me just go water.
Yeah, take a drink of water. I don't want you to get stressed out here.
All right, so like if I do a big entrance, I do it all. I bring all the extra boys stuff. I recruit the extra boys. I block it out.
When you say recruit, do you mean you go in the locker room day of and be like blah blah blah, or these are guys you know from the indies and stuff?
I go to our ring crew guys who's handling all the extra dudes, and I say I need this many.
You just look at the ring crew and just start assessing from the moment you get there.
Line up, shirts off. And then, and I'm a madman, and I'm ambitious, and I want things to go so well, so I'm not going to let anything get in the way of that, and I'm gonna run around like a maniac until the rehearse is right, until the set looks like I want it. And because I'm so ambitious and meticulous, I'm also thankful I'm surrounded by people who allow me to be such an asshole on these days.
So they just get it.
They're polite. They're nice to me. Your dog's coming over here. Come here.
She is.
Yeah, I think they're. I don't know what it is. I'm just so thankful that they are willing to help me out and allow me to be rude. Oh, you're so cute.
Right. I mean, and that's part of it, right? Like, I mean, even if they're not helping you, they were helping this time, but even if you have to build all your own sets, the idea that this organization will let you use them and let you be this asshole day of because, like, you got to figure out all your shit. Like,
I don't mean to be. I'm just.
No. I mean, it's what happens when you have this vision of what you want it to be, and for you, this is your bread and butter. This is everything.
It doesn't affect anybody else if it doesn't go right.
Right.
It's me.
Right.
And I want it. I need it to go right.
Did you like
this is my everything.
Did you like your entrance then? Do you go back and watch them and be like, I should have done that?
That's about all
better.
I can watch. I wish. All right. So there's things I can't control.
Yeah.
Such as lighting and camera angles, and that's stuff that that's just gonna happen because I don't have that control. So I guess I always think of things as like a theater element.
Sure.
There's a stage.
Sure.
The audience is here, so I need to be looking here, but cameras aren't the same as that. I liked this year's. I liked it a lot. They had that confetti shoot off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like our production crew, Ring of Honor is growing so quickly right now, and they're doing the best they can right now to keep up with the growth. And for those guys to be taking on so much more of like a set and deal with me, the diva who wants this big elaborate Broadway entrance,
Right.
that is being thrown together, and they've never they're been hearing about it like day of. Well, not hearing about it day of, but
they've never done this.
Yeah, they've never done this. Plus, they've got to handle cameras and everything. What do you want with my armpit?
She just wants to.
This is the best. Come over to this side. It'll be easier.
Lila.
No, walk through here. Goodbye, dog.
No, she doesn't. Okay. But yeah, so like
I feel like I'm rambling. Am I rambling?
no, it's just because you keep getting distracted by the dog, and then coming back mid thought, and then thinking that your thought doesn't.
What have I
add
accomplished
up,
here? All I've said is I bring all my designs, and I'm an asshole.
But I do
and
think
people are nice to me, and they help me look good.
I think that the growth is an important point, because like you watch Ring of Honor, and it's like you see all this potential, and like obviously all the talent's there, and like you can tell it's growing in terms of production and in terms of entrances and stuff like that. But it is a thing where like maybe they don't realize until they're at the show, like, oh, we need somebody who's used to shooting this,
Right.
because we're missing stuff here and there.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with growing quickly is it's evident. Like you'll do something that's bigger than you're used to, and then when you mess up, the little mess ups are caught by more eyes.
Right.
And that's just stuff that we need to iron out, and that's I'm hopeful, and I think as time goes, we'll fix those kinks, and my entrance will look immaculate.
Do you think that well, when did you, without I guess you draw the curtain back as much as you want, when did you realize that you were going to get the title?
I have to put over first. Our production guy, we had a guy build that thing I rolled out
Right.
on,
Yes.
And I feel like even though it wasn't done when I got there in time for rehearsal, he got it done, and I was happy.
I mean, it looked good on TV.
Yeah, our office member, Greg, it was somebody else's idea to get those peacocks for the set pieces. I was just, all right, I wanted to make sure I say properly how thankful I am for the people that helped me out on the set. It's not just me.
Yeah, and I don't think that you could be misconstrued. I think that it was obvious that you going crazy day of was not because people didn't have their shit together. It's because you're kind of a crazy person day of.
Yes.
Like that was the point that I got from
I've got
that.
Yeah. I've just got a million things going. Plus I have to wrestle a championship match later that day. Oh, and media earlier, everything.
Yeah. So when did you realize that you were going to get the title?
Okay.
Or find out or whatever.
Was it a month or two? I don't remember how early, but I never said it out loud. I never told anybody.
Even like in your family, like your wife, you don't tell anybody?
No, she didn't know. It didn't feel real.
Right.
I felt like the second I say it, it was going to be taken away, because that's pro wrestling.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's part of it, right? That you can't really, you can be happy that you think that in a month I'll be the champion.
Yeah, and I've seen it happen to people.
Yes.
I've seen my friends be told one thing, and then we're at the hotel and they find out through like a third party, and like, hey, it's just like, it's crushing.
They get told through a third party, like you're not.
Yeah,
that thing that you thought was going to happen, that's not happening.
Which, like, it shouldn't really affect you anyways, because we're going up there and perform nonetheless. It's going to be the same.
Right.
But you've prepared mentally for one way, so I didn't want to get my hopes up.
And you want that moment that you got at the end of the show where the confetti comes down and you're holding the title, and like, this is the culmination of everything I've worked for.
That's all I want, Sam.
I know.
Is a big flashy entrance,
Well,
and then confetti at the end.
You should.
All the stuff between is just, who needs it?
Dalton Castle should have like a confetti victory for every victory as champion.
I don't even need the match.
No, just confetti victories.
Undress me, confetti.
But so you find out like a month in advance, but you.
It might have even been earlier than that. I knew they were building to it, but I was still not sure.
Right.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to ask either. I wasn't going to go, is this still happening?
Yeah. There's nothing less champion than being like, I'm still gonna get to be the champion, right?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna.
But the only thing I could do is, in those months leading up, wrestle every match and perform like I am going to be a champ.
Right.
Like I deserve that spot, and I didn't want to leave any doubt when going into Final Battle that they're making the right decision pulling the trigger on me.
Right. So like, even if you were going to change your mind, you've now put this idea in my head, and via my performance, I've made it obvious to the people that this is what should be happening. This is what we want.
That's our guy. That's what I want everybody to say.
Yeah.
As they push their glasses up their nose. There he is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Have you thought about, Media is important, and Adam Cole, for instance, I thought, and Cody as well, both did a really great job representing the company as champion, because when they would go out on media, they'd look like $1 million. They'd have these nice suits on, very well spoken. Have you thought about how the peacock translates into business attire?
Right.
Like, shouldn't
Shirt
I don't think
off is usually
yeah,
where
of course.
we go.
Tie on,
Of
course.
Yeah, bow tie maybe.
But I don't think Dalton Castle should do media in just like a shirt and tie. Like, I think that everything feels custom for Dalton Castle, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, I've got my, like, if you saw, I don't know if you got to watch the episodes where I came out in a suit. I've been experimenting with turtlenecks lately.
I love that. You know what Dalton Castle would wear as an ascot?
Yeah, he would.
Dalton Castle.
That's more of an Ashley guy.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But an ascot or a jabot. A jabot.
What's a jabot?
Oh, that's like the thing Prince would wear with the fluffy.
It's a little fluffier.
It's a vampire thing,
right?
Vampires love jabots.
I just think like Dalton Castle going and doing like a local, whatever, Nashville morning show in a jabot is a great thing. Like,
yeah, which doubles as a doily when you're not using it.
Sure, you take it out and just
put it on the back of the
drape it
Davenport.
Over. Yeah, I think so. But you haven't thought too much about that?
No, I mean, I'm constantly thinking about my appearance now that I know that I'm in like a more public eye. Like, look at me, I'm in a zip-up hoodie sweatshirt here with a V-neck.
Right.
I think I came pretty Dalton Castle-y.
Yeah, I guess this should tell us everything, right?
Dalton Castle would be seen in a suit covered in cats.
Live cats.
Live cats.
Just hanging there by the scruff, all of them.
Meow.
So what is it?
This is the best interview I've ever done because there's a labradoodle by my legs.
The labradoodle just hangs out.
Yeah,
I think that Lila Garrity is an asset to the studio, that she could just come and walk over whenever.
Well, she just walks over and puts my wrist in her mouth. Like, you're gonna take me somewhere. Where are we going? To the moon?
What do you want to do as champion? Like, specifically, like what do you sit there and being like, this is what I want to do. Now, the world is kind of your oyster. You have the title. Like, what do you want to do?
I want to fight the world, Sam.
Yeah.
I want to be a real world champion. I really do want to go to more countries.
Like, and also like a world's champion.
A world's champion.
The world's champion.
You want to beat the best.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I said it out of order there.
You want to beat the best?
You want to beat the best, you got to be the best, right?
You want to beat the best? Well, you got to be the rest. Like, what? But you want to take that. So
My shoes aren't worth as much as your car or house. Well, I think I'm doing it all wrong.
Yeah, but I do have shoes. So you want to take the title?
Yeah, I'd like
just
to
go
do
around
that.
the world with it.
I would like to fight more in more countries. I want to be in as many rings as possible. I don't know specifically in Ring of Honor. I want to bring a little bit more flavor to this. Entertainment, I think, is the most important thing about wrestling, regardless of how many purists think they do not like entertainment in their pro wrestling. They're wrong. Subliminally, they want to be entertained. That's what they need. You can't have. They would be all at the UFC. They would be going to the NCAAs every day,
right?
If they
just golf
if
matches.
Oh yeah,
just going to watch golf all the time. Yeah, so you want to do a little more entertainment, and yeah, I mean, how do you think? Have you talked about people at Ring of Honor? Like, you mean going to like UK Indies and bringing the Ring of Honor title and doing stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and I mean, it's only been a month,
right?
And I don't have much lined up. I've got a Europe trip coming. This might air after that, so we'll see how that goes and starts things rolling for me there.
Yeah.
I want to take the belt. I want to fight Jimmy Fallon.
You do?
Yeah, I think he deserves a shot. Jimmy Fallon, and if I could, this is a dream of mine. Tony Danza as a special guest referee, if he's up for it. If he doesn't feel up for reffing, maybe just ringside enforcer.
Enforcer would be
right, like that time Chuck Norris did it. And,
right.
Yeah.
But he had to throw. Chuck Norris at least had to throw like one karate kick.
Yeah, but come on, Tony Danza, he's the boss.
He is the boss. He is the boss, and he'd answer that question for all of us, wouldn't he? Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's and what do you think of Cody's 10,000 seat show that he is putting together, the All In show. Is that anything that you've...
It's just him he's putting together? I think there's a few people on that committee.
Well, he said, it says All In. I saw the thing. It was a date from Cody Rhodes on Twitter. He gave the date, and then it was a picture of Cody Rhodes, and then it said All In.
Well, I think that's the elite guys, all of them.
The Bucks, too.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are involved. Yeah. I think that's great. That's just another step in that these guys who built this name without the help of a major company are not only wildly successful, they're taking wrestling to a part or to a different limit where now they can fill an arena just using
their names.
Yeah, their names. Like I told you, we went to Dublin and there's 2,000 people there. That's one small country that showed up for that. Now they've got the drawing power, and like just show that kind of ambition. I think is amazing, and I think it's going to motivate a lot of people to do a lot bigger things.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too, and I think it's just good for wrestling in general. I had a question for you.
You booked that day? You booked on that?
For the All In show?
You All In?
I haven't been asked yet. Have you?
I have not.
But is your date free that day?
I don't know what day it is.
so potentially yes.
Yeah.
Potentially
I mean, we
no.
work for the same company, so if they're not booked that day, there's a good chance.
But you're doing the Jericho cruise.
I am doing the Jericho
So
cruise.
I had somebody in wrestling asked me, how are they going to have a ring on a boat? Like, boats move. What's the ring going to be strapped to make sure it's not...
It's going to be a water ring.
A water
ring.
Like, so it's like a water mattress.
Yeah.
But...
No. You're confusing. It's not going to be filled with water.
Right.
It's going to be like one of those floating trampolines.
I see.
But in the pool.
So is this going to be like didn't Big Japan or one of those Japanese promotions once do a pool death match?
I don't know.
Mike Awesome was in it. I had the tape.
DDT or?
I don't remember who it was. It was years ago.
So
It was
like
when
you
it
have
was
to
in high
drown your
school.
opponent?
It was a ring. It was an exploding death match, but there was a full ring set up on a platform in a pool.
Oh, that's safe. Like if you got catching fire, you just roll out.
You just roll into the pool. Yeah, no
it's like
problem.
that Nitro when they were like wrestling.
Exactly. That's what. On Spring Break Nitro.
It was like a moat or something.
Do you have any dream matches left? I would imagine you do.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I just said, Jimmy Fallon is one of them.
That's yeah. I forgot. It was already covered.
I mean, I've knocked off a few. Like I've been in the ring with Tanahashi. I've been in the ring with Liger, Okada.
Is the Liger match still your favorite match? At the time, you said it was your favorite match.
When we last talked?
I don't know. I read an interview with you, but it was years ago.
Oh, I mean, it was one of the biggest moments
for your career.
Yeah. That was a real eye-opening thing where I was like, oh, this is happening. Like, how did I get here? No, I think my favorite moment now is Tanahashi doing the boy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than
being
that.
a boy. I was gonna say I've never been in the ring with Kenny Omega, but I finally did in like a 6-man. But I'd like to see what we can do in a one-on-one. I've never wrestled Kyle O'Reilly, and that bugs me big time because I think the world of him. I think he's great, and I feel like him and I would click. Unless we don't, then I'll be real sad.
Right. Yeah, you have all this potential built up and then nothing.
Yeah.
You must, and we were talking about this a little bit before we recorded, but you must feel more, I don't know if the word is stable now, but in terms of having a career in wrestling, because that's what you always talk about when you're younger, and we might have talked about this, before when we spoke, that it's a difficult thing to make a career in pro wrestling, but I would imagine at this point, you can talk all you want about, the elite making money, but I would imagine that you're at a point now where it's like things are more stable for you than they've probably ever been.
Yeah, life is very good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm the champ.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow,
I got that champion's payout.
Yeah.
But no, I'm at a point where I'm one of the very few lucky people who make a living at doing what I love. And not only that, but I make a comfortable living. So, like, I never thought, like, when I started, and I'm getting paid $20 a booking when I first started, that I would be at this point where I can support myself and my wife, and we would be fine. Or I could go to Cabo on a vacation. So it helps relax me, in that, like, I know that I'm actually doing this. I'm making a career out of it, but all it does is make me want more. Because I'm like, if it gets this good, how much better could it be if I put more effort into it?
Well, and I think that that's great, and something that you got to be optimistic about, because it feels like you know that you haven't hit your peak, right? That
No,
you're still like
in no way.
You're here. You've got this world championship. Like, you've accomplished so much in 2 years. I'd say you've accomplished an incredible amount. Not to take away from the years that came before that, but it's been this sort of
Well, the years, everything's been building. Each year I felt has been better than the last, and that's what you want. And I unfortunately, I want it to happen faster, but that's always going to be the case.
Of course.
I don't know where I was going off that, but I mean,
But
I never stop wanting more.
And I just think it's kind of amazing that you get to this place where you can be comfortable, right, in life, and still realize that I'm still going up, though. There's still way more stuff to grab.
Well, yeah,
that's a good thing.
Complacency is something I've never really had. And like I told you about this, after I won the title and went on vacation, I feel like I should be doing more. And I feel guilty not doing it. And I want to start working forward. And I can't wait to start getting back to work and trying to build off of what I've done. Because I've always known I was good. I always know I could be better. And like being a champion was never out of sight for me. It was just a matter of convincing other people that I could be it. And now that I am champion, I want something else. I need to keep moving.
Were there moments in the last 3, 4 years where like you were frustrated because you didn't feel like Ring of Honor champion was in your grips and it was something that you wanted, or did you not necessarily feel ready for it?
I would say maybe earlier in 2017 it started feeling like this is where it should be going, but I look back at that and I see where I was in the first few months of the year, and I wasn't ready. I know I wasn't.
You know now, but then you were like, this is a little bit frustrating.
I felt like I was ready.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I wasn't sure, but I wasn't upset that it didn't happen then, because I knew there was more to build on. I could build up to this, and then I got it, and so here I am.
Right.
But like, what's the next step for me now?
Did it feel real when you won? Like when you go back and it's like the confetti's come down and you're back in the locker room and you actually, you talked about knowing it was coming but not believing it. When you're holding the title, is that like oh my God, this just happened?
I don't know. Like,
or did that moment just not really?
Yeah, it never really clicked, because I wasn't you're holding it. What are you doing? But you're not doing anything championship. You're not doing anything
so you
as
still don't,
champion.
As we talk here, you don't necessarily feel like the champion.
I feel like a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
And until I'm doing something in the role of a champion, it doesn't really dawn on me. I'm never gonna not be the best I can be.
Right.
I always want to be the best wrestler, but I don't walk through the store and be like, these people know I'm the champ.
Well, you should have the title on.
Oh yeah.
Then they would know.
Yeah, but they do look at me because my pants fall down when the title's not on.
Right. So you have to put it on. I heard that can't remember who it was. Maybe Road Dogg used to put the tag team title in the backseat of his car, so it was stretched out in the window, so that people could see it when they were driving.
That's just to keep the heat out.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, you get those big reflecting.
These championships are so useful.
That's amazing.
It really is incredible.
Like the Swiss Army knife of trophies.
It is cool that you got a new title.
Yeah, only one other person has held it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't for long. When they got it, like 2 days later, I took it from them.
No, it's mine.
Mine.
Yeah, and I think that it was also kind of brilliant that they did that Cody got to hold that title for a little bit of time, because it made me as a fan feel like, well, they're not making a new title just to give it to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, it
made
me like for that was part of it. Not that that was the whole thing, but like part of it was like, oh, I guess they made a new title for Cody because they gave it to Cody.
Yeah, because he wouldn't wear he only wore that ring, and they're like, we got to give him something he likes. Yeah. Well, did I say what my next step is yet? Well, I'll just tell you.
What is the next step?
The next step, I think, as champion, I don't think it's to start doing more in Japan. I mean, that's specifically that would be a goal right there. I have yet to make a real impact over there, and I think if I'm going to move in one direction, and which is up, and an awesome boy band that I used to like,
One Direction.
Of course.
Yeah. I was like, Up was a boy band?
Oh, I think, the next logical step as champion with my brand new title is to start doing
And
more.
I mean, as a creative guy, like, there has to be that thing in you that knows how amazing a Dalton Castle entrance could be at a Wrestle Kingdom show in the Tokyo Dome.
You don't want to get me started.
Do you think about it?
I watched that show and I'm just like, oh, that stage space.
There's so much.
It's all those lights.
And then the long ramp to come down.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
it'd
God.
be like a chorus line, but with glitter.
Of course, since it's all your ideas, you'd have to go to Japan like 3 weeks early because you'd be building. Like,
No,
that's not right.
and I'm just shouting at people who don't understand me.
Yeah.
Get it done. We're gonna tape this here, tape that there. It's got to be up.
Well, that's great, man. And obviously the Ring of Honor people are all happy with you.
I think so.
You're the champ.
They definitely. It was validating to see that they were going to put the trust in me to be the spotlight of the company. And right now, I'm at a point where I have the responsibility to convince the locker room that I should be the champion.
Do you feel that weight?
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. But I've never not felt a weight when I go out there because I want to be the best and I want to perform the best. So, if I feel comfortable, like, I'm not going to go out there and try hard.
Do you think that that's a tall order to prove to the locker room, or do you think because the locker room knows you, they're like, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to deliver?
I don't know what they're thinking.
You don't.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, you could
Dog.
guess.
She just breathed right in my mouth.
But you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where they're at, but all I know is I'm going to continue to try to get their approval and be a champion,
Right.
Be one that they're okay and proud to have.
The question I have for you about your early days, because when you go on a YouTube loop, for you, it doesn't take long to find your old radio stuff and to find your stuff of like interviewing, like you were doing radio where in Albany, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started in Rochester
Right.
and then I moved to Albany.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're doing-
everything you're probably seeing is from Albany.
Okay, so you're doing radio in Albany, and like when the WWE guys are doing their, promo loops where they're promoting live shows and stuff, you're interviewing them for the radio station.
Those poor guys had to come in and they were probably just doing their regular media, dishing it out, just trying to get it done so they can go take a nap, and then they get in the studio with my jerk face.
Yeah, and it's so poetic because it's like it's not even like, hey, this is Rory McAllister. It's like, I'm Dalton Castle and this is my radio show. Like, you're Dalton Castle. But when you were doing that, because you were wrestling as well then.
Yeah,
So
I had been wrestling for as long as, I think I started almost simultaneously. I started radio, and then a few months later I started training to wrestle.
Me too.
Of
And it
course.
ended differently for both of us. I love that you just gave me an up and down on my torso, and we're like, yeah, of course you were.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I pick up on the details.
It was involuntary,
But
too.
did you?
I was immediately like, wait, you wrestle? Like, I haven't seen your sweet grandpa arms before.
Did you? But when you're interviewing these guys, and you're a wrestler yourself or an up and comer, or whatever, was there a part of you that was like, oh man, somebody should be interviewing me. I shouldn't be interviewing them.
No.
Or were they just so far on this other stratosphere that it was like just cool to interview WWE guys?
There was a little part of me that just wanted to like turn the mics off and just pick their brain.
Yeah.
And all
Okay.
I wanted to do was try to use that to elevate myself, because I mean, wrestling, I love being on the mic. I liked radio, but wrestling is clearly my passion. It's what I love and what I feel best at. So when these guys would come in, I don't want to do the radio thing.
You really just want to ask them about
I
their...
want to,
yeah.
like, hey, here's what I do. How do I get to you?
Yeah. And did you do that with people?
Sometimes, yeah.
Who gave you like good advice?
Punk and Heyman. Like I turned the mic. I got done. I never started with I wrestle. I always stopped the interview and they go, hey, just so you know, if I could just bug you for a couple minutes to talk. They help kind of just say, hey, keep plugging at it. I mean, send your stuff here. And I mean, nobody really could tell me. I also probably wasn't asking the right questions, but nobody could really give solid advice other than just keep going at it, because that's what they've been told, and that's really all you can do.
Well, so I mean, now, as a guy who's kind of lived it, you're able to put yourself in that spot. Whereas if I turned off these mics and we didn't know each
We
other,
can leave them on. What do you want to know? I'll help you.
how do you get a reaction. Just terrible. Like,
Shocking.
but like, I mean, what advice would you give if young Dalton Castle were like, I'm also a wrestler and I love what you do and what can I... Like, what advice would you give you if you were going in to be interviewed by you at a radio station?
Find what's missing. Find what isn't being done. Like, look at a show and what can you offer that nobody else is already doing. So, like, if you're going to be the millionaire, the guy who's so snooty, how many guys are already doing that on the indie scene? Like, you're not unique in any way. Just find a way to be unique. And I think that's what I struggled with in the beginning. Yeah. Well, you found it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you found it. Congratulations.
You're cool. Real cool.
You're cool. You're the champion. All right? Whether you believe it or not. And I think that this interview has happened in a really interesting time, because I think if I interview you 6 months from now, you won't have any of these feelings of, well, I haven't really done anything as champion. You know what I mean?
I hope not.
I wouldn't think so.
And that, like... It's the weirdest timing right now. Like, that break between the holidays and then a bunch of guys go over and like people are working, but the champ wasn't working.
Right.
And that it's frustrating for me.
Right.
But I mean, I'm real excited to get back to work, and when this airs, hopefully I have dropped a lot of people on their head, and I have, it had a lot of gifts tweeted out, because that's what it's about, right?
Gifts.
Get
on those.
What up?
It airs tomorrow, so.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so you want to drop... I mean, unless you're going to assault me.
I go back to work in a week. Come to Nashville.
Nashville is the place.
Work in a big room there.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the building, but you can Google it.
Right.
Get some tickets. I'll be there.
At the Dalton Castle on Twitter, right?
At the Dalton Castle on
Twitter.
So
you'll be plugging your dates there. People will be able to find you. And
Absolutely.
Who are you wrestling in Nashville?
Scary Martinez. He's I don't think that's what he's calling himself these days. Punishment.
He's right.
Big, tall, scary guy with eyeliner.
Yeah. Well, he had one of the big entrances at the pay-per-view.
Right, and I love that. I applaud people. Like the Kingdom did it too. Cody's entrance, you could feel the heat when I was in the ring. I like when people take initiative and like step it up and try to do something bigger than the norm.
I love that matching of characters too. The Nashville's going to be a good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's dead and I'm super alive.
Right. It's like Goldust versus the Undertaker.
Yeah, he's so Goldust.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you very much, Dalton Castle.
Thanks
Everybody
so much.
Should follow you everywhere, and I'm glad we got to talk again, man. I think good things are to come.
I hope you are right. You went up at the end.
I think good things are to come. Probably isn't the best it's ever going to be right now.
No. I mean, I hope it's not the best. I mean, it's good, but it could be better.
Right. Let's make it better. Thank you very much, man.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me see the new Notsam Studios.
Yes.
And letting you pet your Labradoodle. Everything's great. What a good day.
It's an amazing time.
Can I just tell the people the neighborhood you live in is it? We're in the neighborhood from Get Out, right?
No, it's not the same.
Super elitist and creepy and scary.
It's not exactly that.
If you hear this audio, make sure you check on me. I don't think I'm making it out of here.
Let's just put it this way: if I showed anybody in the neighborhood a tape of what you do in your ring entrances, you would not be welcomed.